From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.
Good morning. This is Allison with your Morning Pulse for Friday, February 20th. It's here. We made it. It's the end of the week. Weekend is here. And if it's not, and you still had to go to work or you're still having to go to work, it's right around the corner. Although that corner, it's probably a snowbank. If you haven't already noticed, that snow certainly sticking this morning from yesterday's storm moving in and through. Now, we're going to have a lot of weather coverage this morning live on Morning Pulse, but just to kick off the Friday on the lighter side, question of the day. I know we didn't get to it every single day this week, but our question of the day this morning. According to a new study, which sport has the angriest fans on Twitter? The answer may shock you. Turns out it was golf. I would have thought NFL, basketball, certainly. That's what Brandon Rector guessed this morning. I guessed football, but golf being the answer. That sounds like more of a golfer hazard, really. I mean, something with refs, I would have thought. But anyways, that's your question of the day this morning. That being said, on to more serious things. We have lots of weather coverage to start things off this morning. So we're going to bring you right to the top of our website, right here on our closings and delays page. So we just want to let you know off the top, Lincoln Public Schools canceling classes and activities today due to the winter weather. District making that announcement last night, along with LPS. UNL has also canceled all in-person classes and events. Those are just a couple of the dozens of schools and businesses across the state closing their doors completely or opening late this morning. And you're looking at the full list of those on our website, 1011now.com. To find out how you'll be affected, you can head over there and click on the closings and delays tab. I'll just scroll up to the top of the website. This orange tab right here, folks, circling it. Just click that. It'll let you know what's closed, what's delayed. And there's certainly a lot of mixed up sorts of cancellations and delays, like CHI Health Physical Therapy opening up late. You got Beltone closed Friday. You got Bishop Newman closed. You've got all services delayed for Family Service in Lincoln. Food Bank of Lincoln closed. So there's a mixture of opening late and closures. You'll definitely want to head over to the website. But for the most part, the big ones, LPS and UNL closing for the day on those in-person classes. Now, that being said, let's head over to a live look over the Nebraska 511 map. We've been following this all morning. And the conditions have slightly improved, but we have certainly still maintained a lot of blue and pink, as you can see on the screen here. From what we've seen as an improvement this morning, a lot more pink was in the Lincoln and Omaha area here in eastern Nebraska. We're starting to see some patches of I-80 clear up on the map. What you can see if you're watching us live on Morning Pulse is a lot of pink, and we have the key up there on the right. That shows that it's completely covered versus the partially covered there on I-80. So some slow improvements there, but again, definitely take to the roads very carefully this morning, and be sure to just check ahead on your route if you do have to commute. The recommendation right now is if you don't have to go out, let crews do their thing, get to the roads, but if you do have to head out, just be sure to head over to Nebraska 511. And it's not just us, the whole state certainly feeling some effects from the snow. So be sure to stick with us at 1011 as we work to give you the latest updates as well on that. Now, you got a little caught in my script there. I'm going to go switch over to the video so you don't have to read my script. But I'm going to just get over to our first story. You may have caught it already because I accidentally slipped over to it. But this on your screen is just some of the footage we caught of why officials are urging caution this morning. Crash reports popping up all evening yesterday across our viewing area. As of 9 p.m. last night, LPD had seen 62 reports of accidents. The city of Lincoln now issuing a snow emergency and for residential parking bans. So this means if you are parked on a snow route, arterial street, or bus route, you got to move your vehicle or it might get ticketed or towed. Parking is also banned on even-numbered residential streets. So again, we'll continue to keep you updated if this gets lifted, if there's any other updates from the city, but best not to block the work of our snowplows. Just trying to clear those roads out this morning. As you can see from this footage from last night, it was certainly coming down heavy. So be sure to give yourself, again, extra caution, extra time if you need it, but if you can, stay inside or just clear off the roads. Now, your second story this morning, while city crews were busy clearing the roads, Lincoln Fire and Rescue crews battled a car fire in South Lincoln this morning. Take a look at your screen. The video captured by a Lincoln City traffic camera at 27th Street and Nebraska Parkway around 3 this morning. You can see LFR crews on the scene and a car up in flames with thick smoke billowing into the air next to an apartment building. Now, it's not yet clear how the blaze sparked, but as soon as we know more on this case, you can be the first to know by downloading our 1011 Now News app. And while you're at it, download the 1011 Weather app as well. Certainly gives you the latest coverage and up-to-date information on the conditions that we're feeling here in Lincoln. Now, switching things over to our capital coverage this morning. Refugees and immigrants in Nebraska who are in the U.S. legally are currently unable to access SNAP benefits. Now, some in the Nebraska unicameral are working to get those benefits restored. But that being said, part of President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill passed last summer removed refugees and asylum seekers from the benefits. Bellevue Senator Victor Roundtree introduced LB 843 yesterday afternoon. It would require Nebraska's Department of Health and Human Services to ask the USDA for a waiver to make immigrants and refugees eligible once again. Nebraska's DHHS estimates about 115 SNAP cases were closed or denied following the ruling last July. And in Nebraska, SNAP benefits are 100% federally funded. Refugees and immigrants like Podboy, who immigrated from Thailand, says it's essential for temporary help.
We just came here with the hope of wanting to work really hard. We value family, we value personal responsibility, but it's just a little help that we need, and I hope we can continue to get that.
The Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services submitted a letter to the committee. They're neutral on the bill, but said on technical grounds, a waiver like this alone wouldn't be enough to restore SNAP benefits to the refugee and immigrant communities. Now, wrapping things up with your final story this morning. In case you missed it, great news for board game fans. Lincoln getting its very own Monopoly board. There's Monopoly Man from yesterday's press conference. But the thing is, Hasbro needs your help selecting which locations to feature on the iconic game board. There's some examples right there, but the Monopoly Man himself going into that the details of that. The board game is still in its early stages. Hasbro just wants suggestions for the spots to feature. For example, those displays that you saw there. Ivana Cohn was one of the mayor's suggestions, but we made sure to just pop up and around the city for some of those iconic spots like Pinnacle Bank as well as Runza. Suggestions are being accepted until April with the new game board expecting to appear on shelves in October. You can find out how to submit your favorite Lincoln landmarks on our website, 1011now.com. with this story. Now, that being said, I thought it'd be fun to just read off just some of the great responses that we've seen this morning, not this morning, just throughout the day that you all have suggested in the comments. I believe the American Museum of Speed, Germans from Russia Museum, Lead Center, Bob Devaney, Runza, of course, UNL, Capitol, Lincoln Children's Zoo, Sunken Gardens. These are great guesses. I don't know if you already know this in terms of the Monopoly lore. We already have Husker-opoly. So I'm thinking probably got to limit it back. Pull it back on the UNL pieces that could be added to this board. I'm thinking keep them to the red spaces because go big red. But that's just me. It's my personal preference. I have been playing Monopoly and I'm obsessed with it. If you couldn't tell, we've spent almost 2 minutes talking about this story this morning. But that being said, that's going to do it for your Morning Pulse for your Friday morning. And before we wrap things up completely, here's a look at your 7-day forecast and a catch of Brandon Rector's forecast for today.
Good Friday morning. Meteorologist Brandon Rector with you in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. It is going to be mostly sunny to partly cloudy for today. Clouds starting to increase this afternoon, and I think tonight will be partly to mostly cloudy. Another storm system moves through the region, but this one remaining mainly to our south, but just far enough north that along and south of Interstate 80, there is a chance of seeing some snow as we make our way tonight into early Saturday morning. Not expecting much out of this, certainly nothing like what we just had. About a trace to an inch of accumulation will be possible, maybe some isolated 2-inch amounts around southwestern Nebraska into northern Kansas. Temperatures at noon look to be in the mid-teens to mid-20s. At 4, low 20s to mid-30s. And at 8 this evening, we're in the low teens to low 20s for much of the area. In Lincoln for today, warming up to 25 this afternoon, well below average for this time of the year.
From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.